Hello and welcome to Talking Bengals, the world's realest podcast. We are here to talk about the awesomeness that is the Cincinnati Bengals because right now they are undefeated on the season because it hasn't started yet. But we're optimistic, we're hopeful, we think good things could happen, and they're going to be playing in Spain. Nick, what do you think about
that? Green jacket, gold jacket. If you get that reference, you're old enough. I wish they were playing in Cincinnati, but whatever.
If someone wants to pay for us to go to Spain, I'm totally fine with that. So we're putting it out there now. If you want to show your anger that the Bengals are, playing overseas, we'll send two annoying guys to go cheer. Yeah, we'll go.
I'm your guy.
Send us.
I'm that annoying guy. And you
send.
Also have to pay for my passport too, so I don't have one.
True. My passport is well expired at this point.
I don't have one that I can fly with, so only driving.
Yeah, I need to re-up my passport.
All right, I have an off-season topic, so we'll just go off the rails right as soon as we start. What is an irrational fear that you have that you know is irrational, but there's no way that you can go past it? I'll start so you can think. Yeah. Flying in an airplane.
Oh, yeah, that is a dumb one. Yeah.
Completely irrational, okay? It is much safer to fly in an airplane, statistically speaking. But also, Nick logic, I'll be in the one plane that goes down that year.
It's not your problem then. It's literally just not your problem anymore.
It's my problem on the descent.
That's one of those times you just go, F it. So, see,
better hit something hard. I don't want to live away from this wreck.
That's it. You're not even a smoker, but they should just have like a free cigarette and lighter comes down. And you're like, whatever. I don't even smoke. But why not?
Everybody tuck and grab your ankles so that way we can find your body in the wreckage. That was morbid. Sorry about that, guys.
Well, that actually came up with a fun story since we're talking about this. And then we come back to the irrational fear. So for those of you who don't know, I was a pilot at one point, flew helicopters. And they
actually let him fly a helicopter.
Crazy, I know.
Good enough for government work.
Exactly. Standard or government issue doesn't always mean the best. But anyways.
Usually doesn't.
We'd have to learn emergency procedures. And we'd always quiz the new guys, what do you do if you get blue blades? And they'd be like, what the heck is that? Like one of your blades blows this way, one of them blows that way. They're gone. What are you going to do? And they just look at you like, well, what you do is you unbuckle and you move yourself. The thing that sits in between a pilot's legs and a helicopter is called a cyclic. So you move yourself on the other side of the cyclic and you hug it as tight as you can. And you see the reaction like, oh, is that going to, is the cockpit going to collapse around you in a certain way and like protect you? No, it's just so the crew that comes to get your body out goes, what in the heck was this guy doing?
Because you were going to drop like a rock.
Yeah, you're dead. You have no way to auto rotate. You're just,
There is nothing stopping you from going straight down.
We're going down.
I was like, why is he hugging that? Like they're just hitting. They're going to hit the ground hard. They're not limping away from that at all.
I said, smoke them if you got them. Do whatever other substances you brought with you because you're not going to walk away from this one, guys. But anyways, that's Nick's morbid fear. Yes, we are morbid and have dark humor. We apologize if you're offended. It's all for laughs. Irrational fears. I don't have that many. I would say I'm not a fan of spiders, but not like little spiders, like big spiders and a lot of them at one time. Not a fan.
Yeah, you remember that one time when we were kids and we were sleeping out in the backyard in the tent, and the spider got in the tent?
Yeah,
and you guys all freaked out.
Well, see, what really kind of got
me. That was a big spider.
Yeah, to be a little bit less afraid, but more afraid of spiders was actually another Army story. Sorry, this is all about war stories. Just turn it off, guys. Anyways, in South Alabama, they have what we call banana spiders. I don't know what they really are, but they get about that big. And they build their net webs about 5'8" to 6'3". So you're walking in the middle of the dark and at night because you can't turn on a flashlight, and you just end up with a spider on your face. So you very quickly realize you walk with a stick out in front of you.
I was about to say, why weren't you walking in the woods with a stick out?
Not everybody did that. And there's one guy from, I'm not going to say what city, New York. he decided to go out there and he didn't put a stick up and he wound up with a spider bite on the side of his mouth because the spider got inside his mouth.
Ugh.
Giant spider. And I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So yeah, spiders, let's say, was my irrational fear. I know there's a few of them that can kill you. Yeah, but by and large, the big scary looking ones aren't the ones that can kill you. So
I'm the guy that finds a spider in the house, puts it in a cup, and then sends it back outside.
You're nice. If you're outside or you're in the garage, you have grace, and I'm not going to bother you. Once you cross the threshold, it's any intruder. Once you cross the threshold,
we need spiders, we need insects, we need all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, they all belong outside.
We need spiders to take care of like the flies and the mosquitoes and all this other stuff on top of the birds, and there's a lot of stuff out there we need. I'm not trying to hurt anything.
They also all belong outside.
So I take it outside.
You know what I hate more than spiders, though? So this isn't a fear. This is just an irrational hate. I hate ants. Literally.
I'm not a big fan of ants either.
Oh, man. My favorite thing is dichotomous earth. If you've never used dichotomous earth, it's safe for pets, safe for kids, safe all around the house. We're not talking football at all. I'm sorry, people, but it's awesome. And it will get rid of your crawling insect problem. Don't look up how it does it because it's not nice, but it's totally health. Like, it's not going to hurt anything that's not an ant or other tiny insect.
Anyway, so let's talk about football for just a minute because we are a Bengals podcast here. Like you said, Bengals are playing in Spain. Historically speaking, Bengals playing outside the United States has not gone well.
No. What, a tie and a blowout loss?
Yeah. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't see the whole reason for going internationally for football. Why don't you start an international football league?
They did at one point. Remember that, the European Football League at one point or whatever it was, or NFL Europe?
Okay. So you want to know why it did not take off? Because they don't care.
Well, they care enough for a few games a year, and then it's a novelty. Like, oh, yeah, let's go look at it. It's kind of like, and I mean, people that like European football or soccer, as Americans call it, people will watch exhibition matches from, the big teams over there if they come over here, because there's enough fans to where a few games a year they'll watch. But if you're like, we're gonna like MLS, it has some fans, but it's not even in the top 3 of sports in the U.S. So I see why they do it a couple games a year. The Bengals only go once every 5-6 years, or a little short, more distant than that. I mean, it's been a while. So whatever. I mean, in other football news, the Bengals have signed most of their rookies at this point. I think Cassius Howell's the only one that hasn't signed. I'd have to double check that, but I know the majority of them have.
Cassius Howell is still at practice, though.
That's because he wants to play. I like that guy.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that, to me, is a highlight. Someone who hustles, someone who wants to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
You got to appreciate people like that. Like, at the end of the day, this guy wants to work. This guy wants to come in and work and play football. Like any job that you have people that come in and they just want to produce. That's all they want to do. They want to come in, they want to work, and they want to do what they're getting paid to do. You have to reward people like that. I mean, a lot of times workplaces will actually ride someone's back and just ride them into the ground instead of propping them up and seeing how they can help them do better at their job. I work at a great place. I'm not going to go ahead and name drop, but I work at a great place that doesn't just ride you into the ground. But, we've all worked at those employers where they just ride the good employees straight into the dirt. Like Cassius Howell, We need more people like him on the defense. How do we build the defense to be more like Cassius Howe?
And I mean, I think he's going to be a monster. I mean, I know it's way too early for predictions, but I mean, I think we're going to forget that Shamar Stewart's even on the team.
Like, I think we're going to forget we ever had Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, this kid has a chip on his shoulder. He's here to work. He's angry. He feels like the rest of the league ignored him. So yeah I love that.
Well, because the rest of the league did ignore him, and he should have gone in the first round. But we got him, and he's going to shove it so far up your rear end that you won't even know what hit you.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I mean, it's exciting to talk about a draft pick who's not trying to hold out before he's even done anything in the NFL. That's nice because you're there to work. You're there to prove yourself. And, I mean, I think it just proves that they screwed the pooch with Shamar Stewart, but they did course correct. So give me credit.
Hopefully. Correct. It was the second round. Okay, we have historically done halfway decent in the second round, at least.
That is true.
Okay, so first round, we had Carson Palmer, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you got some good, but I mean, there's definitely some crap. I will 100% agree with that. There's definitely some
Lots of crap. It's like cleaning out a porta pot. All you're dealing with is crap all day long. All right, what else, Casey? What else you want to talk about?
Sorry, my dogs are barking at the moment. This is the world's realest podcast. I'm trying to tell my daughter to get off of her fifth point of contact and go out there and let them out.
Her fifth point of contact?
1 foot, 2 foot, hand. What would be the other thing that's going to make contact with the ground or a ladder or anything else?
Her face?
What are you sitting on around? Tell me.
I'm sorry, I've never heard that before.
Sorry, I don't know why. It's a military type day.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Other Bengals topics. Joe Burrow went to the Met Gala. We talked about that a little bit last week, how much we care, because we don't, and that's the only mention we're going to give it now. They were practicing at one point. Gesicki, Chase, Higgins, and Burrow were all practicing in California a couple weeks back. That was fun for them. But now everybody's back in Cincinnati. So the world is moving as it should. No news is kind of good news at this point because you don't want to have anything negative coming out. So it seems like everybody's getting along. Everything's working well. We'd like to see no holdouts. I think that should be our next thing we try to go for is no holdouts this year. Get people signed that need to be signed. Get the whole team ready. And hopefully they can make something happen. I mean, Miles Murphy's fifth-year option didn't get picked up last week. That doesn't really bother me. Either he signs a long-term deal this year, or he either plays like crap and we'll sign him again because it's what we do, or he'll play really well and get paid somewhere else. So, whatever.
Or what we could really do is sign our defensive backs that we've been waiting to sign.
Yeah, I see DJ Turner getting signed. I don't see Dax Hill getting signed. I think, unfortunately for Dax, the writing is on the wall. We drafted an outside corner, even though I think he's a big enough body guy. He could play inside and do well. But, yeah, I think that they're going to try to use him as a Dax replacement and either tell Dax to play in the slot. And Dax seems open to the idea. I mean, I heard a couple interviews where he's like, yeah, I'll do what the team needs me to do. But honestly, he doesn't want to play slot because that's not where you get paid. You get paid on the outside.
I mean, I just wish that we would try to keep good talent in the defensive backfield. That's it. Just try to keep good talent. Guys that are average to good.
Well, I mean, and Dax Hill is an interesting case study because he's a guy that when they drafted him, you're like, okay, it's the end of the first round. That was the year we won't speak of because it was great but sad. And, you're like, okay, this kid has some potential. And then they just couldn't put him somewhere. And then for years I kept hearing he's the best. He's going to be best at outside corner. They put him at safety. He's going to be best at outside corner. They put him at slot. He's going to be best at outside corner. And he played really well at outside corner. Just let the guy play outside corner. Make this new kid learn to play slot. Or better yet, sign a slot corner. There's still some out there. I mean, you have enough, C-list cornerbacks. Maybe one of them can play slot. But yeah, don't make a premier outside corner. And yeah, maybe that's going a little bit too far. But I think he is probably top 12, top 15 corner in the league.
If I'm not mistaken, he was top 10.
He might have been. I know DJ Turner was top 10, but he was close. I mean, you're talking really elite in the league. Why not let him just do what he does?
I'll research.
Nick's going to do research, and I will pontificate about something. It is interesting we get a lot of corners from Michigan. Leon Hall's from Michigan. Then now DJ Turner and Dax Hill from Michigan. Apparently Michigan has good defensive backs. Because anytime we draft other people, except for Michigan State, Darqueze Dennard, not so well. Did not work out as well as we wanted. But then let's see, William Jackson III is Houston. Drake Kirkpatrick had tiny arms at Alabama. Can't tell if Nick's researching or if he froze. I think he froze.
I'm researching.
Well, you're literally, your picture is frozen. There we go. Now you're back. You're like this one. He's just very intense in what he's doing, everybody. Don't make him feel bad. Let's see, other cornerbacks the Bengals have taken. Josh Newton, that poor guy. I don't think he's going to have much hope this year. He did not play well in all of his opportunities, kind of fell completely off. I mean, hopefully he can figure out something because he's still on the team, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. But Nick, please tell me you found your research because I'm kind of tired of talking about corner.
So I saw DJ Turner's name listed on number 4 or 5, depending on what source you're looking at. A lot of these places, they don't like the Bengals.
Yeah, that is fair.
Google has Copilot Search has DJ Turner listed at number 4 on the top 10.
Yeah, well, Dax Hill is, according to PFF, 49th out of 114. And according to, what was the other one I just saw? Yeah, so 49th, which is still not bad. I thought he was higher up than that, but, it's not bad. I think that's a bad grade on him. I don't know.
His PFF grade coverage was 67.7. That's 36th out of 114 qualified corners.
Yeah.
He had 88 tackles, 11 passes defended across 17 regular season games last year.
I like Dax Hill. I think he has, leaving the outside, he can do well. What other topics you got?
I'll fresh out, man. I'm like a store that's sold out of all the produce. Fresh out.
Yeah, we're glad nothing bad has happened that we have to talk about. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of excitement. Oh, shout out to the Florence Y'alls for their season starting. If you don't have the money to afford the Reds or they're on another massive losing streak, go check out the Y'alls. It's always a good time. So put that free code out there for the local team.
Or you can come out and support some of the youth sports. High school baseball is right in, I think it's regionals now. Go out and support one of the local teams. Or if you're just looking to watch some baseball, there's baseball at all the local baseball fields throughout the whole summer, all the way through June, at least.
Word.
Lots of good baseball out there.
I don't really have any off-season topics. I feel like we have played out most of our off-season topics over the last however many years we've been doing this.
What was your favorite subject in school, and it can't be history?
then I didn't have one. Gym. There we go. Gym.
I was about to say, and tell me why it's gym.
Because it was fun. Being an athlete, going to gym was fun. The only mistake I ever made in gym class was taking Gym 1 first block as a freshman. That was so dumb. Because then you're just sweaty and stinky the rest of the day. Every other time we took it the last class of the day. So then you just didn't care.
See, I took advanced training the first class of the day, senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did gym, another PE class, the last class of the day.
So you just did gym all day?
For half the day, yeah, for one of the semesters. It was pretty wild. It was fun. Because the other two classes were like underwater basket weaving and fine arts or something like that.
I didn't know. Man, that's been so long ago.
I don't know. One of my teachers was one of my oldest brother's friends that he played baseball with. And I walked in and I look at him, I go, Lenny? He goes, No. You're not calling me by my first name. I was like, but I don't know you by any other name.
Sure, I'm not. Sure.
I was like, Griffey, baby? He goes, No. None of these other kids are going to know anything about that.
Oh, I'm not going to have any problems this year, am I?
Yeah. No, that was a fun class. He was a good teacher. I was really surprised that he was a good teacher because he was not a good student.
Take so many bullcrap classes. That's what I was trying to think. So my last semester, I know I had engineering applications, which was basically you just build crap. It was fun, good times. Gym 4 or 3 or whatever gym I was on at that point. It was a good time. Library, because all I did was sit there and listen to music and not do anything else. And I don't even know what my other class would have been. I don't know.
This question is in honor of the end of the school year, obviously.
Yeah.
My favorite class that was not history was physics honors, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Okay, we played a lot of chess, and I got my butt handed to me a lot. So some really smart people in that class. I was lower on the totem pole in there. Like probably lowest. No, I think I beat one person out. But man, I had what was his name? Not Raj. I can't remember. But Raj Trivedi was in there. He's a great chess player, by the way. Don't ever try to play chess against him. He'll embarrass you.
Good to know.
And then who was the drummer? The guy who was really good with the drum line. He graduated a year before you. Gosh, I can't remember his name. But he was so smart. We were doing like the bridge out of popsicle sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You can only use popsicle sticks and hot glue. Somehow he made the perfect bridge that like somebody in the class actually sat on the bridge and it didn't break. I mean, I think the guy's probably making so much money right now he doesn't know what to do with it, and well deserved.
That's impressive.
Well deserved. Guy was a genius. If he's not, please, for the love of God, do it. But there's just so many smart people in there. It was very humbling. And also, Mr. Wilson's just a great teacher.
Funny guy.
Well, he was the type of teacher that would keep you engaged. You know, like his classes weren't boring. He wasn't just sitting up there lecturing. He was actually teaching. You know, like you had those teachers like, oh my God, my chemistry class that I took in high school. Oh, I can't remember her name. She tried to fail me on a paper that I turned in because I did it in APA format, but she wanted it MLA. And I was like, but this is a science paper. It's supposed to be in APA. She goes, I requested MLA format. I was like, this makes no sense.
You didn't have Mrs. Wilson, did you?
No, I never had Miss Wilson.
She was nice,
but,
actually.
I was like, how? Like, this is a science class. science and math is APA format. I was like, if you want me to do like, if this was like a literature class, like English lit or something, yeah, MLA format or whatever, or like a pure research paper, just done based off of like a book I read or something. But it's APA format when you're doing science and math. Like, what is, like, I even like looked it up, and I wasn't the type of guy who looked stuff up like that. Yeah, she was going to try to fail me because I turned the paper in on time, but it wasn't done the right way. But it was.
Academia.
And then my senior year, I was told to sit in a chair I was way too big for, one of those desks. You remember those little desks that we used to get that we had in like 6th grade, where like even as a 6th grader we barely fit in, and like I wasn't a fat kid. Like I was in a lot better shape than what I am now. Like I actually had legit shape other than round.
Don't be self-deprecating. It's
Dude,
okay.
I went. It's funny. It's funny, but I was gonna sit down in this chair, and like I told her, I was like, Miss, I'm too big for this chair. I'm not trying to be a class clown. I'm not trying to be disruptive. I'm just too big for the chair. Like I'm not gonna be able to sit in it. She goes, you're gonna sit there. I was like, okay. So I go sit down. And I get stuck halfway in, and then she tells me to go down to the principal's office. And DMAC looks at me and goes, what are you doing down here? I was like, the teacher told me to come down. He goes, let's go talk. And I told him what happened. I was like, I got stuck in the chair. I told her I was too big for it. I went to sit down and I got stuck halfway in. And she thought I was trying to be a class clown. He's like, I'll talk to her about that. You're not a class clown. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not funny. Like, I'm only funny when I'm not trying to be.
Very straightforward, not funny.
Yeah, I'm not good at being funny. But yeah, that was a very interesting day. I never had a teacher apologize to me like that. I didn't expect it.
Speaking of weird people apologizing to you, how worthless is it for an umpire to tell you after a game that he missed a call?
Yeah, I mean, just don't miss the call.
Oh, take me off. I remember it was a tournament, bases loaded. I'm up to bat. I had a pretty decent eye. I had a good walk percentage, on base percentage. Not so great batting average, but hey, it is what it is. But anyway, he called me out on a strike 3 that hit the dirt outside, like on the outside part of, like out of the plate. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yep, strike 3. And I'm like, of course I had a mouth on me. So I was like, are you serious?
You had a mouth? No.
And so yeah, I basically jaw jacked him all the way back to the dugout. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, that's the ball game. We win on a walk. Next kid, luckily, hits the ball, wins the game. And after the game, he's like, I'm sorry, you're right. And I was like, gee, thanks.
Yeah. But once you make that crappy call, you can't go back from it. That's the worst part.
Just own it. You made a mistake. I mean, there is a little bit in life. I'm not saying you should not own up to a mistake. In a ball game, it doesn't matter that much. If you make a real life big mistake, own up to it, people. I'm not saying don't. But in that situation, you telling me you missed a call doesn't make anyone feel any better. But you maybe, because you got it off your chest. Doesn't make me feel better. So big life things, yes.
Makes me more mad.
Yeah, it just makes me like, well, dang, I could have, improved or helped my team and improved my personal stats and done all that fun crap. Anyways, water under the bridge.
Yeah, I obviously I coach baseball. I coach both my son's baseball teams, and the oldest is finally an umpire stage, where we actually have an umpire, and the umpire missed an obvious. The kid never even touched the third base. He got tagged. The kid was obviously never touching third, and one of our coaches, one of the guys who helps me out, is one of the parents for another kid on the team, and he was pretty heated about it. And I'm be honest with you, I was pretty heated too, because it was a terrible call. But I did the thing you're supposed to do as the coach, and essentially give the umpire an out. I was like, guys, he's in a hard spot. He's behind the plate. Normally in like Like as you get older, there's a field umpire there that'll have better shot at that. He's looking through bodies at that point. It's a hard call to make. And the umpire goes, "Thank you." And then we got a call that should have never been called right after that. And I look over at the coaches. I go, "That call's because of what I said." I was like, "You got to learn how to work the umpires." But like obviously, there's some calls where it's like it's worth arguing over. That call was not, because he wasn't going to change his mind at that point. He had already gotten to the defense. He was already defensive, and there was no way he was going to change his mind. So there was no point in even going out there and arguing with him.
That brings up another fun topic. Things not to say to umpires or officials. Go ahead. What's your biggest one not to say?
Don't tell the umpire they suck.
Good one.
Unless you're joking and they know you're joking. There's a couple umpires that I know, like Alex Brennan's dad. He's awesome. He's actually one of the better umpires.
Oh, nice.
And shout out to Alex if you ever see our show. I keep on telling your dad to say hi. I think he keeps on telling you hi for me, but I don't know. Let us know. But yeah, I go, "Sir, I'm kind of disappointed because you're umpiring today for us." He goes, "Why?" I was like, "Because you actually have a strike zone." I was like, "It's a consistent strike zone." I was like, "We need a more broad strike zone." Like, let's remember these are 10U, right? Shoulder, mid shin, 3 inches off the plate, both sides. I was like, let's get the kids swinging. It's like, I'm not going to argue, balls and strikes unless the ball was over their head. And my oldest, he struck out on a ball that was crossed at his face. And I go, "Come on, Blue." And Mr. Brennan looks at me and goes,
Yeah.
and I look at my boy and I go, "You're not swinging at that pitch. I don't care how many times any umpire calls that a strike. You're not swinging at that."
Well, see, I'm waiting for the kids to start tapping their helmets like they're in the big leagues.
Oh my God! If any of my kids did that on the team, I would lose my mind.
Not game changer. Just go back and
the biggest tip for any coach: don't show up with the umpire. If you're going to argue with the umpire, have a respectful disagreement. Don't show up the umpire, because when you show up the umpire is at liberty to be a little bit more liberal with their calls. Do not show up the umpire.
Do not offer them your glasses. Do not ask them in what universe they got their umpiring license from. Do not
tell them to get off their knees.
Yeah, don't
because
tell them to get off their knees.
That's
that you're too young. But yeah, don't tell them to keep their day job. Those are all not nice things to say if you want to stay in the game as the coach. If you want to have an early exit and go do something else, that's a great way to do it. It's a good time. Also, though, when I umpired, the parents were worse than the coaches.
Oh, there's a couple teams. We were behind one team that was playing in front of us, and the coaches, obviously the head coach can talk to the umpire, right? 10U baseball, head coach could talk to the umpire. Man, I've seen assistant coaches yelling and screaming at the umpire, cussing and, carrying on. Like, bro, these kids are 10 years old. Get a life. Like, what are you doing?
You get a timer. I always like to say that. So I've been head coach, been assistant coach. Assistant coach, you have about 3 seconds to be ticked off, and you can say, or come on, and that's it. That's your whole spiel. You get like one quick spout, and it needs to be appropriate, nothing over the top. And then as a head coach, you can be a little bit more vocal, a little bit more like, hey, I didn't see it that way. Can you explain the call? Or come on, like something like that. That's it. Let it die. If you let it go any further, then it starts getting personal. Then it starts becoming a deal. Don't make it a deal. You got, like I said, you got like 3 seconds. Let it out of your system, and keep it to where you can recover from what you do or say.
Yeah, like last year, for example, we had a situation, 20 years of baseball I'd never seen. Inning ended. I can't even remember the situation because literally I've only seen it happen once. Like, of all the baseball I've watched and played and been around my entire life, I've never seen it happen. It was, so base runner, first and second, or I'm sorry, first and third, 2 outs. Ball was hit to second baseman. Second baseman tags the runner from first to second after the runner from third scored.
Mm-hmm.
Does the run count? Why or why not?
That is a hard one.
It's actually pretty easy. The runner on first is forced to go to second.
Yeah, so he should be out, then it's not a.
So it's a forced out no matter what. Since the runner was forced to run and he was out, innings over, run doesn't count.
Yes, that's what I was going to go with. I was like, yeah, I don't think it counts on that situation. If it was an option,
then yeah. I'd never seen that before. I was like, our run scored before the tag. He goes, it doesn't matter. That runner was forced to run. So as soon as you tag him, whether you tag the base or tag the runner, the run doesn't score. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to talk to the umpire about it because I'd never seen that before. Normally, it's just forced out of the bag and they just get the out, right? Or there's no way that the runner crossed the plate in time. And I'm trying to talk to the umpire, and there's a parent from the other team yelling from behind our dugout. And he's trying I don't know what the parent was saying. And I look over at the parent and I go, are you on the field? Am I talking to you? Shut up.
I've had to do that. I've had to do that.
I was like, why don't you go sit down with your team? It's all on Game Changer. Saved. Fun times. I mean, I'm sorry. And then, like, this past week, we had a coach on the other team, like, mouthing off about our kids not being ready to swing the bat. I was like, bro, I'm trying to teach these boys how to play baseball. Like, most of these kids, they've played, half our team has played more than 4 seasons. The other half is split between first year, second year, and third year players. Right? I mean, like, and when I say first year, second year, third year players, I'm talking about players that they're still learning how to play the game. Like, they're not as aggressive as the kids who are a little bit older at the plate, that, or not older, but have been playing for so long because they're not as comfortable with the plate as the other kids. Mm-hmm. It just is what it is. And there's some kids that are, as aggressive or more aggressive at the plate that have only played 1 or 2, but still, like, you don't talk about the skill level of the other team's players loud enough for the whole park to hear and expect the other coaches not to say or do anything about it. So instead of me mouthing off back across the diamond, telling the other coach to shut his mouth, I just have our 2 fastest players steal home when their pitcher gets on the rubber, and their pitcher had absolutely no idea what to do because he's 10. Yep. I mean, it was completely bush league, but it was well within the rules. Yeah, like, I wasn't planning on doing that. I didn't want to do that. But if you're going to sit there yelling all day long, you can steal all day long, just blah, blah, blah. And, these kids, they're not wanting to swing, just those strikes. Okay, if you're wanting to talk about our kids' skill level and yell about it and demean our kids, I'm going to show you what all day long looks like. I'm going to show you what not wanting to swing the bat looks like. But anyways,
it's frustrating. Youth sports can be very frustrating, and well, I'll tell one coach story, and I guess we can, wrap it up here. If anybody's still listening, thank you for bearing with us. We are a Bengals podcast. This is just what happens in the off season. You can check all the other podcasts too. They have less stuff going on because there's not as much going on. But I coached middle school baseball when I was in college. And for those of us in this part of the state, if you're in Kentucky, we don't really do middle school baseball. Like you play it in summer ball or whatever. But no, down in other parts of Kentucky where I went to school, they had middle school baseball. So I was a coach, and we had to travel, sometimes an hour and a half to games. And we were playing a team from a certain part of Kentucky. I won't badmouth, even though I should, because they were classless. But the team I took over had not won a game in 2 years. Like, nobody wanted to play for the last coach. He was a jerk. First game, we're playing this team, and they're one of the better teams in the district or whatever you want to call it. They're up 10-0 after 2 innings. Like, they're dominating. But you got to play 4. It's at least a 4-inning game. And so up 10 runs, like, okay, well, they're going to back off. We haven't even got a runner on base yet. They're stealing. And I literally looked over the coach and like, you need to stop. And he was like, well, my boys need to know how to play. And I'm like, steal again.
Yeah, they do need to know how to play the right way. Once you get up so much and the other team is obviously not catching up, take it easy.
Yeah. I mean, if a guy rips one to the wall and he gets a triple, that's a good hit. There's no hard feelings there. But if you get a walk or, you get a single and you're stealing second and third because my 5th grade catcher can't throw you out, yeah, don't do that. So, I had an 8th grader throw at him. Didn't hit anybody. I said, you throw it about 3 inches above his head to where you don't hurt anybody, but you send a signal that if you don't knock this crap off, we're going to continue to throw at you. And, of course, the umpire yelled at my pitcher. I yelled at the umpire, yelled at the other coach. And I said, when he stops playing Bush League ball, we'll stop playing Bush League ball. And the umpire warned him to, knock it off, warned me to knock it off, and he stopped stealing.
Once you get up 10, if you're up 10 runs after 2 innings and the other team hasn't even gotten on base, you go base to base unless it's a tremendous hit. Yeah. Like, unless the extra base is absolutely necessary. Like, the kid hits a shot, and it would normally be a double anyway, send them.
Yeah,
or the kid hits a shot and it normally would be a triple anyway, send them. Or you hit the ball all the way in the outfield and you're rounding second base and they still haven't picked up the ball and the kid's running to third, send them home, whatever. But as the coach, you shouldn't be up at home plate celebrating with them when you're up 15-0 and the other team hasn't even gotten a runner on. Like, that's called bad sportsmanship. Well, you don't want to teach the kids that.
And those are the games you look at the back end of your bench and you go, okay, you guys are all in. Everybody that doesn't get to play very often, you're all in. There you go.
Well, that's the thing with the league that we have our kids in. Essentially everybody plays. Everybody has to play 6 outs. I make sure that none of the kids, even on the 10U team, I make sure none of them sit more than 1 inning in a row. Now, will they sit 1 inning, play an inning, sit an inning, play an inning? Depends on how their effort and their attitude is. If they had a bad attitude and they're not out there giving it any, showing that they want to be there, I'm gonna sit them on the bench. They're gonna sit more than the kids who show they want to be out there. Mm-hmm. And I've had to talk with them about it today at practice. I said, guys, I'm gonna start playing kids who want to play the kids who want to actually show up at practice and practice, the kids who want to show up at the game and, know what the count is on the batter, know how many outs there are, know where to go with the ball when it comes to you, know where to go when the ball doesn't come to you. Because in baseball, you're never just standing still. Mm-hmm. If you're standing still, you're losing. So, same thing in football. You should never be just doing nothing.
If you're playing a sport, you probably shouldn't be standing. Just standing still.
You shouldn't be standing still.
Still, true. Yeah, you should be standing, not laying down. Unless you're doing like luge or something. I don't know.
Yeah, unless you're in football and it's before the snap, then you need to stand still.
Then you gotta stop. Anyways, we digress. I don't have anything else. My closing thoughts are: enjoy nice weather when it's here, have fun, be a good sport, try not to get ejected from any games.
All right, my final thoughts are that Casey didn't bring it home to me. Like, follow, subscribe us. Sorry, let's restart that one. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share across all of our social media platforms. You can find us at Talkin_Bengals. Remember, there's no G because Burns isn't here. You can also check us out at talkinbengals.com. So talkinbengals.com or at talkin_Bengals. Please do like, follow, share, subscribe across all of our social media platforms. If we're not on there, go ahead and send us a message and we'll find a way to get out there. But as always, Uday.
Hooday.